cutting. I hope it doesn't keep cutting out. I want to do my reflection on the gospel. And the thing that struck me when I was reading it is that Jesus called people who are friends from each other. So if you read the gospel for today, it shows you that some of his disciples came from the same town and they go looking for friends, people that they know, to invite them to come meet Jesus, like Nathanael. And Nazareth obviously had a bad reputation. It's like when we country bumpkins come to the city. It's like an eye-opening shock. It's like when you've been living in a small town of Kwekwe where everybody knows everyone, and they consider the place, Nazareth, to be somewhere where there's lower moral standards compared to the city. And you get that culture shock when you go from a tiny little town to a big city. Like I went from Kwekwe to Johannesburg. It's a culture shock, but you adapt quickly because you've visited other cities, you know what other cities are like. And so we see that in Jesus's story today, the gospel story. We see these friends going together to look for Nathanael, and they're saying, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And it's almost a rhetorical question because they know what it's like. I don't know how far the distance is, because some sources say that it was 30 minutes walk, other sources say it was 3 days walk. So I've never been there, so I don't know how long it would take for you to walk. But I do know that Jesus was rejected in Nazareth, and they called him a Nazarene. They didn't give him the honorable title of Nazareth. They gave him the Nazarene title. So it's a title like when people say to us, oh yeah, you people are connected to the Jews. It's kind of like that. So we see this, and we see the importance of Nathanael's name, the spiritual name, because Nathanael means honest in the sacred tradition. And you see Jesus saying there's one deserving of the name. So Jesus is basically calling him good. And it's just, it's a way to look at the friendships and how Jesus calls people that know each other. And those friends are going and saying, come see, we found Jesus, the one we were waiting for. And it's like that in our friendships too. When we have something good, when we know something good, we invite our friends. Or even if it's something sad, we tell our friends. And so we see this taking place in the scripture today. And Father Cyril had also mentioned in his homily that they had gone to Jerusalem because there were more people there. Some sources say that in Nazareth, it was so small, there might have been only like 150 to 200 people. It was like a village. So when they go out to take the gospel and to take Jesus's message, they go to the city where there's more people and they're more open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. And that's with us too. When we go to universities, when we go to learn, we don't go to, sometimes we do go to small colleges, but they're colleges that have vast amounts of resources available because we're going to learn something new. And so Jesus went to the bigger place hoping that he would be more accepted, more welcomed. But we know how his story ended when it came to people. And that rejection begins in his hometown, begins in his own family, his own community, his own people doubting him. And so he's going to a new place to take his message. And he finds that initial belief in his disciples because they understand, but they don't understand fully. Just like us, we understand, but we don't understand fully. So it's a nice way to think of the Gospels, to see the friendships, to see the camaraderie, to see how they were talking to each other, and the sacredness of names. the sacredness, like Jesus saying, here is one worthy of that name, which means honest. It's a beautiful way to see how the sacred is unfolding. Like my name means beautiful linden tree. The linden tree is sacred, and beauty is also something that is in the Bible. So you don't find my name directly in the Bible, but you find it in the roots, beauty, sacred, and the linden tree is often used for creating sacred objects and used in the temple. It's got a beautiful scent. So that's what I wanted to share about my reflection on the gospel for today, and the friendship between Jesus and the disciples that he called, because they were friends. They were friends, and they grew up in community where they all knew each other, the same way that when we grew up in our own communities, and our own communities thankfully accepted us. But there is that tension. There's always that tension, especially with people that completely reject Jesus. There is that. There's that, they'll say to you, yeah, you people, you join to those Jewish people. Or yeah, you people, you follow that Jesus of Nazareth. So there is that tension there, but that's how we keep strong in our faith, and that's how we find the joy of the gospel, because we're friends, and our friends who are Christian all follow that same tradition, and that light of Christ touches every religion, whether it's Jesus as prophet or Jesus as king. And Jesus' friendship touches each heart. It touches each life. So that's what I wanted to reflect on, the beauty of names, and how Jesus recognizes the beauty of Nathanael's name and says, here is one worthy of the name, the sacred name. I hope my internet didn't cut out.